is Eva, and here at The Charm of It, I love to celebrate the lighter side of board games. I prefer games that fit into my life instead of requiring my life to fit around them, and the point of my reviews is to decide if a game fits into your life or not. To that end, I talk about two different aspects. First, how fun a game is, and then how effortless it is to play. I don't go into a detailed description of the rules, but I always include a link down below to a rules video in case that's something you're interested in. Today, I will be reviewing the Tea Dragon Society, a card game from Renegade Game Studios that is for 2 to 4 players ages 10 and up and plays in 30 to 60 minutes. I absolutely love this game, and I can't wait to tell you why. One of the reasons that the Tea Dragon Society is so fun to play is that you get to create your own deck. So you're buying cards from 2 different areas, and so that means that as the game goes on, if you've bought cards that are useful to you, you end up getting better and better rounds, and it feels very satisfying to be able to create the best working deck that you can. It's also quite relaxing in that there's not a lot of direct player interaction. No player can really hurt another player's deck. The only thing that you're doing in common is all buying cards from the same source. So someone could buy a card first, but that's the most interactive that you're going to get. And because of that, it feels very relaxed and not cutthroat or hyper-competitive at all. So the pleasures are really in making the best possible Tea Dragon that you can and enjoying looking at all the art as you flip over cards. The Tea Dragon Society is a well-balanced game. Although each player starts with a different dragon deck, they're all functionally similar, almost the same, and so everyone starts out on an equal footing. There also aren't really any cards that you can buy that are incredibly powerful or incredibly weak, and so that level of equal playing is going to stay throughout the game. There is a higher element of luck at the beginning. However, as you go on and you're changing your deck and the cards that are out in front of you, you can really help mitigate that. And so I would say that the Tea Dragon Society is definitely nicely balanced. There is some variability built into the Tea Dragon Society. This is quite a light game, so there aren't a lot of different strategies that you can pursue. However, you won't see all of the cards every time. First of all, if you're playing with less than 4 players, that means that you're going to be using different dragons, since there are 4. And even though the decks function similarly, they have different artwork, so it's really nice to look at that. Also, the market cards, depending on how the players go, you might not see all of those every time. And with the seasonal memory cards, you only play with a few of those out of the deck, so you're going to see different memories each time. So there is a little bit of variability, but it's more aesthetic than it is strategic. I really enjoy the pacing of the Tea Dragon Society. Because you are working on building a better deck over time, that means that later rounds are more successful than early rounds, and if you buy the right cards, then you end up getting to put more and more cards out in front of you, and as the seasons turn, the memories get more valuable, and so there is a sense of rising escalation as the game goes on. I used escalation instead of tension because this game is very calm and zen, and there is never a point in it when I'm stressed out. But it does build up nicely to the ending. I absolutely love the aesthetics of the Tea Dragon Society. In fact, they're why I bought the game. It's based on a webcomic that is also a graphic novel by Katie O'Neill, and because of that, the artwork is very cohesive and wonderful. It draws you in, and it just gives you a very cozy, contented, cheerful feeling while you're playing the game. I don't want to show you a lot of the artwork because for me one of the pleasures when I first got the game was seeing each card as it appeared. I didn't go through any of the decks beforehand, but I will introduce you to the dragons and show you a few just so that you can see how cute this is. And although I mentioned before that there's not a lot of direct player interaction as far as the actual playing goes, every time I play this game, I'm always showing cards to my friends and having them show me cards, and we're all interacting over the artwork. So that really leads to a lot of enjoyment on its own. So those are the dragons. And here are just a few of the lovely cards that you will see, and they all definitely match that aesthetic, and it is one that I absolutely love. So the Tea Dragon Society is fun to play because of the adorable artwork and the calm, relaxed gameplay. It's also effortless to play. Setup time is under 5 minutes. You're just going to be distributing some decks and shuffling and laying out a few cards. The playtime is, the box says 30 to 60 minutes. My games have always come in around 30 minutes, maybe a little less, but that's because I'm playing at the 2-player count. I can see how if you added more players, then that's going to take a little more time since everyone has a turn of their own. The table space, you do need an actual table, but it doesn't have to be a large table. My coffee table works, and a cafe-sized table would definitely work as well. The reason why you need a table is that you do keep cards in front of you, and sometimes that's only going to be 1 or 2 cards, but it can be up to 7 or 8. So you are going to want space to lay all of that out. Obviously, if you're playing with 4 players, then you're probably going to need a dining room table. The portability is great. The box itself is quite small, and I have also just grabbed the decks that I need in order to play with one other person and brought those to a cafe just in a Ziploc baggie. So, scores high for portability. This game also has very simple rules that are easy to learn and easy to teach. The rule book lays everything out quite clearly, and there are actually 2 rule books. There's both a conventional rule book and a graphic novel, comic book type rulebook that not only tells you the rules but also goes into a few strategy suggestions. I think this would be especially helpful if you were teaching a new player and you had already played the game before, and I prefer this rulebook. I think it's a wonderful addition. As I said, the rules are quite simple, there aren't too many of them, and if you're playing with new players or younger players, because everyone keeps their cards out on the table in front of them, it's quite easy to make suggestions, give advice, and monitor what's going on. There's no secret information in this game, which makes it very accessible. And even though the box says 10 plus, I would play this with younger children as well. Once I learned the rules, I only had to play 1 or 2 games before never needing to refer to the rulebook again because everything is so straightforward. Finally, I like to describe how much mental effort a game requires. Obviously, this is very subjective, but the Tea Dragon Society is a wonderfully light game that is definitely a Netflix alternative for me and one that I can play any night of the week, no matter how long a day I've had. That's because the rules are quite simple. There isn't a lot of strategy. There is some, just enough to keep it interesting, but not so much that you're going to feel stressed. And because there's not a lot of interaction with the gameplay, everything feels very relaxed and calm. I find that this is a wonderful game for playing when I want to catch up with friends because it's really easy to chat with them, both about the beautiful artwork in the game, but also just about other things. And it's just a wonderful, relaxing game that is perfectly suited for when you have some downtime and you would like to just stay calm instead of having to create any grand strategies or getting very stressed about the game. And so those are all the reasons that I absolutely love the Tea Dragon Society. It's a game that I'm so glad I have on my shelves and I like to pull out at every opportunity. The adorable artwork, the relaxed but rewarding gameplay, and the simple setup and easy portability make this a game that I reach for time and time again and one that I'm so happy to have in my collection. I highly recommend this if you're looking for a relaxed, lightweight game to either play with people who aren't interested in creating a lot of strategy or play with younger people, younger children, or just in a mixed group where maybe some of you are more interested in board games and some of you aren't. If you like the artwork at all, you will love this game for that alone. And I think that Renegade Studios has done an absolutely wonderful job with this, and I highly recommend it.